Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for August 25th, 2024, this Sunday edition. Please be sure to subscribe for the latest tropical weather and weather going on in the lower 48 as well. Right now, we're not expecting any tropical cyclone activity in the next 48 hours for the Atlantic Basin, all the Caribbean, all the Gulf of Mexico. We do have in the Eastern Pacific still dealing with Gilma, who's upgraded to a strong category 3. Category 4 hurricane with winds above 130 miles an hour, sustained pressures down to 949 millibars, and it's still moving west-northwest at about 8 knots or 9 miles an hour. So Gilma's very strong, but thankfully it's very out to sea. It's not going to be affecting any land masses. And then we have a strong chance of a development right behind Gilma. This storm here is looking to become the next named storm out in the East Pacific here. It's moving well away from land, and it's 90% chance through 48 hours as well as 7 days. So this will be our next named system here coming up, as well as it continues to move in that direction, west-northwest direction behind Gilma. We'll see how much upwelling comes in and cold water upwelling comes in to help cool down this system. We'll see how much that affects it or if it does not affect it at all. But we have Gilma, and then Gilma is brief rapid intensification. It has leveled off right now. Like I said, it was forecasted to weaken, and it is forecasted to weaken to just a hurricane, not a major hurricane, but it's going to remain a major hurricane throughout the weekend. And then on Monday morning, it's expected to go back down to hurricane strength, and then as it heads toward Hawaii or just north of the Big Island, it's supposed to be down to a depression by Thursday morning. But it still should bring some nice sized waves into Honolulu and Waikiki Bay and all the other islands, as well as the Big Island on the north and east facing sides there. We'll see how that swell generates for the surfers out there as it passes by. So be prepared for that. Now, going back to the lower 48 here, we just have a bunch of heat advisories here. This extends all the way up from the Red River Valley of Texas all the way up the 35 corridor through Topeka, Kansas, Omaha, Nebraska, up through the Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, and North Dakota as well, Fargo, North Dakota. These heat advisories and excessive heat warnings into the Twin Cities there in pink and purple and fuchsia, and the Quad Cities of Iowa, as well as getting into Illinois there. And this will continue to extend for today and tomorrow here as a high pressure dome that's been sitting over the middle of the country. We've been seeing this omega block pattern for a while now, with this high pressure sitting over the middle of the country, providing that heat wave in the center of the country in the nation's heartland, as well as in the west. And out east, we're getting some spurts of above average temperatures here as we try to round out summer and get past Labor Day, but nothing too crazy. So no heat advisories out in the northeast or out west. That's what's pretty rare for this Sunday we've had in a while. Flood watches continue in green for eastern Utah, as well as in the Raton Pass of New Mexico and I-25. So be careful if you're coming down from Pueblo, Colorado into Raton, New Mexico, and those places north of Albuquerque and Taos there. Flood watches remain in place there. We know that flood watch that happened to Wudioso a long time ago. Now, back in looking at the tropics, like I said, the predictable precipitable water, or the PWAT values here, you can see that out toward Africa and the Cape Verde Islands area is very high precipitable water content. It's very high there. The surface temperatures are high, and you see out here in the this has been a very hot zone for precipitable water as well as tropical activity in Central America, like south of Belize and Honduras and Nicaragua, El Salvador, San Salvador, and Panama. Those areas have experienced a lot of rain in the past, just from kind of not from a Central American gyre, that low pressure system, but that's something to watch out for as well. Now, the Gulf water temperatures look to be warm, but you can see the tropical development here in the next couple of 48 hours here. We have a big wave coming off of Africa just now coming off. So maybe by Monday or Tuesday of this week, Tuesday or Wednesday, of this coming week, we'll see for some kind of development out of this as it just passes by the Cape Verde Islands later on in the week. That's a big wave coming off there. So we'll see how that develops. Right now, no development is expected in the next 7 days. The Saharan dust is still thick out here, ladies and gentlemen. And so in the ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, has shifted further south. And so that has prompted some development, but nothing too crazy right now. And so we can't see anything in the next 7 days developing right now, even though I know we're heading toward the peak of the hurricane season along with September the 10th. Central Pacific looking quiet. Like I said, Honei is making its way toward the Central Pacific there. Honei winds of barely a Category 1, 75 mile an hour winds, pressures down to 991 millibars, is moving at 12 miles an hour. Honei did make its way south of the south point of Big Island of Hawaii there. So it is going to expect it to scoot by there. And the advisories, the tropical storm warning remains in effect for Hawaii County. Tropical storm conditions are possible possible on the watch area there, as you know. And hurricane force winds only extend out 15 miles from the center. A very compact system. Tropical storm force winds, of course, extend out 115 miles from the center, or 185 kilometers from the center. So Hone is going to bring 6 to 12 inches of rain over the big islands there, and about tropical storm force conditions will continue to be downslope of higher terrain over the canyons and passes there of the Big Island as the system continues to move by there. So Hone affected the Big Island. It's going to strengthen to a hurricane briefly, then back to a tropical storm as it makes its way through the Central Pacific here. Could possibly affect some of the Samoan islands or other islands past the international date line there as it gets further out. But at that time, it would be a depression or just be a remnant low later on this week, I should say, by Friday or something like that, over the weekend. Some passage sirens out there into it, Honoré and the American Mariana Islands and those islands out there. Maybe it could possibly bring some rain, the much needed rain out those areas out there. But it's still a long ways out from that, as it's just trying to get past the Hawaii Islands here. So this has been your tropical and update, as well as for lower 48 hazards update. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe for the next video. Thank you for your support. Bye bye.